Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Andrea from Andrea Speaks TV here, back to bring you news and commentary you can use. Thank you so much for continuing to support the channel. Listen y'all, I'm back with another update on the migrant crisis, okay? I want you to know I've been reading your comments. I've been responding to your comments. And without a doubt, okay, I can tell that many of you are concerned about what's going on regarding our borders, the U.S.-Mexico border. And I have even seen some of you share, you'll say in the comments with Andrea, this is an invasion. Okay, so I did some research, and do you know I came across a story, okay, that actually speaks about what some of you all have spoken about in the comments. So I want to share this with you, okay? So make sure you watch this video in its entirety, and I would like to know your thoughts on this as well. Okay, y'all, listen, this story is coming out of Texas, and according to my sources, okay, 3 more Texas counties declare an invasion, bringing the total to 50. Okay, I had no idea about this. So as I'm sharing information with you all, okay, in many cases, I'm learning as well. So if you have any insight on this story or what I'm about to explain, please feel free to share in the comments. Several of you all come across my channel and you share with me that you're in Texas or in one of the border states, Texas, Arizona, or other cities, and you give your perspective. So I appreciate you contributing to the channel. Listen to this, y'all. Okay, according to my sources, 3 years into the border crisis. Okay, now before I keep going, let me say this. There are some people who are just really realizing what's going on in the border. It really seems like it's headline news, but many of you have even said, and I would agree, based on the research that I've done, that this border crisis is something that has been happening for quite some time now. It just didn't start yesterday is what I'm saying, okay? But according to my sources, 3 years into the border crisis, 50 Texas counties have now declared an invasion. Listen to this, y'all, okay? It's shocking. I had no idea this was even taking place, that the counties were declaring invasions. Okay, listen to what's going on. So the latest to do so are the judges and commissioners of Bandera, Schleicher, and Uvalde counties. Okay, officials in Bandera and Schleicher, that's Schleicher. Hope I apologize if I mispronounce it. Okay, those counties signed nearly identical resolutions in November, okay, as Crockett counties. Now, Crockett County declared an invasion. This is what was very shocking. Listen to this, y'all, okay? According to the article, Crockett County, okay, this is in Texas, declared an invasion after its county judges' family members, okay, lost their life by an alleged human smuggler. Okay, now, right away, that sounds concerning, very alarming. I did some more research. I'm going to speak more about that, okay? Now, Uvalde County officials signed their invasion resolution in July when they also joined a coalition led by Atascosa County Judge Weston Crude, okay? Now, before I speak about the resolutions and why they're saying it's an invasion and what's going on with that, let me speak about why specifically another Texas county declared an invasion after a judge's family lost their life. Okay, listen to this, y'all. Very tragic story. My heart goes out to the family who's having to deal with that. And I feel like this is really maybe like, I don't know if there are stories like this that happen this often involving people coming into our country, but this is one of the reasons why many people have concerns about what appears to be our borders so wide open. Okay, listen at what's going on, y'all, and I want to get your thoughts on this. Okay, now, so again, the leaders of another Texas county have declared an invasion. Okay, my sources say after the county judge's family members lost their life, okay, by a human smuggler. Listen to this story, y'all, okay? I won't get too detailed or too graphic, but just listen, okay? Let me keep going, okay? Now listen to this, y'all, okay? They actually lost their life in what was being described as a head-on collision by a human smuggler. The smuggler was said to have been driving more than 100 miles per hour, heading north from the border, crossing county lines from Pecos County into Crockett County with a Texas Department of Public Safety, with a Texas Department of Public Safety trooper in pursuit. The driver, was said to have been smuggling 11 foreign nationals who were here against the law, in his pickup truck, It also says that the family, they were coming back from playing, and I quote, the family were coming back from playing with cousins at a football field and went to Dairy Queen to get an ice cream cone, The quote continues, on the way back home, they were hit head-on by a high-speed chase coming from Pecos County. As they were coming off the ramp, the light turned green at the intersection of 163rd and 15th Street. And as they began to move, the article says that the smuggler ran a red light right into them, causing their loss of life instantly, Those being smuggled, were stuck inside the crushed truck, and law enforcement officers worked to get them out, And it says the offender is currently in jail. So, that right away is just a terrible, tragic story. My thoughts and prayers go out to those families. But like I said, I don't know if stories like this, tragic stories like this, happen that often, where people who have crossed our border unlawfully, if it could be described that way, they get, in situations where they could face criminal charges. I don't know how often things like that happen, but it also shows us kind of another side of the migrant crisis, and why so many people have concerns about, people, thousands and thousands of people just coming in without checks, without going through the proper protocol to even enter the country. This is, the purpose of me sharing this story, so that people can see the other side in attempts to try to understand, if you wish to try to understand why people feel the way they do regarding what is being called the border crisis or migrant crisis. And to also get a glimpse of, some of the things that are taking place and how people are dealing with it, Now, all 50 county resolutions, my sources say, cite the invasion clauses of the U.S. Constitution, Articles 4, Section 4, which require the federal government to protect states from an invasion. They also cite Article 4, Section 7 of the Texas Constitution, which states the governor has the legal authority to command Texas military forces and call them up to, and I quote, suppress insurrection and to repel invasions. They also point to the work of Governor Greg Abbott's border security mission, which is called Operation Lone Star, whose officers are interdicting the, and I quote, smuggling of drugs, weapons, and cartel trafficked people into Texas, and working to, and I quote, prevent, detect, interdict transnational criminal activity between ports of entry. Now, the article also says that the Biden administration created the border crisis. County officials argue, with an estimated 10 million people entering the country unlawfully since 2021, an unprecedented 1.9 million migrants who entered the country unlawfully entered Texas in fiscal year 2023 alone. That's according to the Center Square. Here's a quote that says, and I quote, the invasion is unsustainable and threatens the lives of our citizens, officials in these counties maintain. They also express support for border counties, adding that their own non-border communities, and I quote, cannot absorb the socioeconomic cost and criminal impacts resulting from an unsecure and open border. So, I've even talked about it. I'm actually going to do a video where I talk about how some of the small towns, some of the small border towns or small towns and other communities are actually handling the migrant crisis. You know, for the small communities who have a smaller population size compared to other cities, you know, they have a more limited budget. They may have limited resources, and if they're trying to service their residents, the tax-paying citizens in their area, but then they get pulled, okay, to handle crises at the border, you know, ultimately that's going to cost money. It's also going to take resources away from the local residents there, and it really could create just another crisis in that community, okay? This particular article that I'm reading, it also talks about the criminal impact resulting from, you know, our open border. I just gave an example of a very tragic story. And there may be some others, okay? But, you know, just to kind of, these are things that I'm just learning about, very shocking. And to give you another perspective, okay, on why so many people may be concerned and have the right to be concerned about the border crisis, okay? Now, someone was also quoted as saying, let's see who this person is. Okay, give me just a second, y'all. I'm trying to check my information. Okay, this is one official who said, and I quote, "Why wouldn't you declare an invasion? If you have people from all over the world coming into your county by bus, plane, or smuggling people and drugs, why wouldn't you declare an invasion?" Okay, I want to ask the question and get your thoughts. Is this really what's happening here? You know, I've spoken about the fact that some people who may be crossing the border, okay, coming into the United States, you know, they could be escaping a war-torn country, some type of conflict, natural disaster. They're making sacrifices, men, women, children, okay? Often when I speak about these situations, honestly, I'm talking about families, okay? Because we know that there are children and young children coming into the border. So when I speak a lot of times from my perspective, okay, based on the research I've done, oftentimes families are coming, okay, crossing the border. Like I said, they're escaping war-torn situations, some type of conflict, natural disaster, right? But then on the other side of this, okay, you mean to tell me that there are people coming across the border using this, seeing the opportunity to smuggle people and drugs? Is this what's really going on? Okay, I want to know your thoughts on this. Okay, now, the official and others, okay, are actually calling on Congress, according to my sources, to cut funding that's enabling what they say are Biden's failed policies. They argue, listen to this, y'all, they argue that Congress continuing to fund the current, and I quote, catch and release policy, releasing millions of people into the U.S. after they come across unlawfully, instead of deporting them, okay, makes Congress complicit in facilitating the border crisis, according to the my sources, and enabling Mexican cartel activity, okay? Excuse me, Congress's failure to stop the border crisis is burdening local communities nationwide, they argue, okay? They also agree with Abbott that Texas, and I quote, didn't create this crisis, but that Texas, I quote, is leading on border security, and Texans will defend our state and our country, okay? This person even references the fact that in the past there were 2 wars over this border, okay? Referring to the Texas Revolution and the Mexican-American War, okay? This person was also quoted saying, and I quote, "Texans and Americans lost their life and bled for this border, our state, and this country. It is worth defending, and we must defend it. Without a border, without enforcing our laws, we don't have a state or a country," okay? That's something to think about, y'all. The fact that they referred to 2 wars fought, you know, allegedly over the border. I need to do my research on that. I'm going to make a note to look at the Texas Revolution and the Mexican-American War. Excuse me, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm going to do some research on that. So, you know, right away from that, I get that, you know, there's a sense of patriotism, loyalty to defending the country and the land. And many people, again, have a concern about that, okay? The resolutions, the article says, of Bandera, Crockett, Schleicher, and Uvalde counties are similar to those passed by officials in 46 other counties. Kinney, Goliad, and Terrell counties were the first, the article says, to declare an invasion on July 5th, 2022. Okay, right now there are 50 counties that have declared an invasion according to resolutions obtained by the Center Square, and it goes on to list them. Some of those counties are among 58 that even issued disaster declarations. Okay, a state disaster declaration. Okay. Listen, y'all, I want to know your thoughts on this. This is very concerning. Again, I wanted to share this information with you to show you another side of the migrant crisis and how it's being handled, and, you know, honestly, what families are going through. So let me know your thoughts. Very concerning. Okay, what is the real solution in solving this border crisis? Okay, should Mexico do more? Should the United States do more? What are other real solutions? That's the questions that I'm asking. Okay. All right. Take care. Be blessed. Thank you all so much for trusting me to bring you news and commentary you can use right here on Andrea Speaks TV.